Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be focusing more on like the eyeliner of the video. I wanted to do a how-to winged liner, but I thought I would make it into just a full video of my full makeup routine. But I will be focusing on how I do my liner because I haven't done one of these before on my channel. So hopefully you learn something. If you can hear something, it's my puppy playing with a toy, so it might be a bit distracting. So let's just get straight on to the video. So for foundation today, as you would have seen in my last tutorial, I've been loving the Too Faced Born This Way foundation because it is a kind of medium coverage, still gives you a really nice even base, but it's not too matte. Then to apply that, I'm going to use my Zoeva 102 brush. This is quite an old brush, I've had it for quite a few years. But I've only just got back into using it again and I've really been loving it. And then if I want a little bit more coverage anywhere, I just bounce it up and down to keep the coverage where I put it. So then for concealer, I'm gonna use one that is a little bit lighter than my skin tone today because I do want the skin to look super glowy. So I thought if I add a little bit of a lighter concealer, it will kind of lift that area forward. And just make it look a lot brighter, so when I put highlighter on it kind of helps make that stand out even more. So a little bit does go a long way, so I find you don't need to take it all the way across. I literally just pop it on the inner part and then also the outer part as well. And then also to highlight the centre of my face, I'm going to pop it on the forehead and a little bit down the nose and kind of on my chin and around my mouth. I'm just going to use the same brush as before for the centre and just push that in, and the concealer just completely melts into the foundation. You can use your foundation brush because it will still have a little bit of foundation on, so it kind of helps it merge in a little bit better. Then for under the eye, I'm just going to use a beauty blender to press that in. Want to say hello? Say hello. This is Levi. As you can see, she's chewing on something. Hi. Ooh. Hello. Oh, so I didn't want to keep her in her crate because Josh is on a call and she's been in her crate for the morning. So she's being a good girl. Ugh. If you're looking for a really good foundation and concealer combo, then I would definitely recommend the Too Faced and the Tarte together because I don't know, they just blend really nicely together. And then finally for, well not finally, but for powder, I'm going to use the same as before. If you've watched my previous two videos, you know I've been loving the powder from Huda Beauty. This is the Pound Cake Easy, no sorry, it's the Easy Babe Loose Setting Powder in Pound Cake. And yeah, I just love it. It makes my skin look super smooth, like I get fine lines in between my eyebrows, and it just completely like blurs that and also blurs the pores here, so great. Basically just set mainly underneath my eyes and the centre, and then I pretty much press that everywhere and I just tap that up and down so I don't move any of the coverage. Oh, I just realised before I use any powder, I wanted to try the Morphe highlighting stick. This is in the shade Effect 2, so it is a cream highlighter in a twister tube. So I've used this briefly before just on the top of my cheeks, but I had quite natural foundation on, so I'm going to use it today. But I think the trick is when you have a product like this and you've got full coverage foundation on, is to kind of warm it. Sorry if you can hear her. Warm it on the back of your hand, like so. And then once it's a little bit more malleable, is that a word? I'm not sure. Then you can kind of press it on top. But I just like to dab it up and down so that way you're not moving any of your foundation. Like so. It just gives a really nice soft glow. And then to blend it in, I literally just tap it in with my finger, just to ensure there's no edges. like so. For my bronzer, I'm going to go in with the NARS Casino bronzer. I'm going to use it on a very fluffy brush because it is quite dark. Just going to add a very soft amount around my hairline and a little bit on the kind of cheekbone and in the hollow. Because this bronzer is quite cool tone, you can kind of get away with using it as like a bronzy contour, if that makes sense. So I'm not using it right in the contour, but kind of in between where you would put your bronzer and where you would put your contour. Next, for a nice orangey blush, I'm going to use the NYX blusher in Summer Breeze. Then I'm... Shut up. Okay, to apply that, I'm going to use my Morphe M405 brush. And this does have quite a lot of shimmer in it, so I find it's best applied kind of at the top of the cheeks rather than the apple of the cheek, because it's quite shimmery, but I love the colour because it's a really nice orange tone. And then what I've been doing lately, this step is not essential, but I've been taking the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Cheeky Bronze and just dusting that like over where I put my bronzer, and it just gives a really nice warm glow. So just using the same brush as I use with my bronzer, and I just lightly apply that. You just need the tiniest amount, just anywhere where I put the bronzer. It just gives it a really nice warm glow and works really nicely like over the body. Then to finish off the skin, I have been loving the Luminous setting spray by Morphe. It smells like summer and it just gives a really nice glow and just settles all the powders into the skin. Okay, so as I showed you in my last video, I've been using the Morphe Micro Eyebrow Pencil in the shade Hazelnut, just because it looks natural, like the colour, but it still gives me a nice amount of definition. I just brush it through, and this eyebrow is thriving, this eyebrow not so much. So I just kind of want to even them out a little bit and just make them a little bit darker and more defined. Then to add a little bit more definition, I'm going to use the Morphe M158 brush and the gel in Hazelnut as well, just to add a little bit more definition towards the end of my brow. And then kind of at the base as well, just to make it stand out a little bit more. To set my brows in place, I'm going to use the Morphe Clear Brow Set, just to make them stand out a little bit more and to also keep them in place. So I've just popped a little bit of concealer over my eyelids and also set it with the same powder as before. So as we're focusing on eyeliner, I'm just going to use a very light layer of eyeshadow. So I'm just going to use this one here from the Mama Mitchell Me, Myself and I palette, and this is in the colour Modest. So I'm literally just going to pop that through the natural crease of my eye, just to add a little bit of definition and warmth. Just going to add a tiny bit of the colour Mixer to add a little bit more definition. So moving on to the eyeliner. So for my liner, I prefer to use a gel liner just because I like to use my own brush. I've just always preferred it that way. But this kind of technique you can do with any sort of liquid or felt tip liner. So this one is from Maybelline, and I'm going to use the same brush as before for my brows, but I really like it for liner as well. Again, that is the Morphe M158 brush because it's super tiny, like width-wise, if you can see, but also really fine. So the first thing you want to do is just coat both sides of the brush in the liner. You can kind of pinch it together and use the lid just so it's like really tightly compact. So what I like to do is follow my bottom lash line. You don't have to follow your bottom lash line if you do want to make it more angled. For example, by following it, you're literally just going in the same direction as your eye shape. Whereas if you wanted to make your eyes look more angular, you can extend the line and kind of make it more angled, kind of going up in that direction. Or if you want to make the line straighter, you can have it coming out more this way. Hopefully that makes sense. I kind of find it the easiest way to practice is by following your bottom lash line. So maybe try that first and then you can have a play around with the shape. So I'm gonna mark a line as if there was a line continuing from my bottom lash line, like so. So I use the longest part of the brush to do that, so the very tip, and just lightly draw a line outwards. Then from the top of that line, you basically just want to bring it inwards towards your top lash line. And then you can kind of even it out and make it longer if you wanted. At this point, I just kind of like to make it a little bit longer if I need to, or make it a little bit thicker. And then as you can see, the tip isn't very sharp, so I just like to go over that to ensure that it's super, super fine. Like so. And then obviously you can do the lid if you wanted, so you can just do a really thin line or you can do it really thick. It's completely up to you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's really straightforward. I just find that the easiest way to create the wing. And then for the lid, I mean, you don't have to use two brushes. I'm just being extra. You can use the same brush as before, but I just find it takes a little bit longer to do it that way. So I just use a kind of really fine pointed brush. This is the A09 by Spectrum, just because it's easier to use the side of the brush. So you can literally place it on your top lash line and just kind of lightly drag it across, and then it kind of does the work for you. And then to match it from the other eye, obviously if you're not following your bottom lash line, you kind of have to make sure you get them at the same angle. So I kind of step back and look into my mirror, and from the same area from my bottom lash line, that's where I place my brush first, and then I just lightly sketch out the angle that I kind of want it to match, so it can match the other side. But obviously both eyes are completely different. This one kind of sags down a little bit more, so you might have to practice a few times on both eyes just to get the gist of the shape. So again, draw a rough line, and then from the top of that line, bring it inwards. Like so, and then you can just fill it in, and then from there you can obviously make it thicker to match this eye. So that one is definitely shorter, but you know, when you don't want to make it longer because you don't want to fuck it up, though sometimes it's just best to leave it there if you want to. I'm just putting lashes on and then lips, and then I'll be done. Oh, that's quite good. And just whilst the lash glue is drying, I'm just going to do a dot on the lower lash line just to make it a little bit more interesting. So for lips, I'm going to keep it really simple and go in with Dervish Lip Liner by MAC. Just line the outer part of my lips. So it's really similar to your lip colour. So it's great to wear if you want something quite natural. And then literally just over the top, I'm going to use the MAC Clear Lip Gloss just for something super glossy and simple. Okay, lastly, I am going to use a powder highlight on my brow bone and the inner corner. So this is the Ofra highlighter in, what is it, Rodeo Drive. And I'm just going to pop that on the brow bone, just to make it super glowy. And then also in the inner corner as well. But that is pretty much the look finished. I'm just going to finish off with the Luminous Setting Spray again from Morphe, just to make everything super glowy. But yeah, hopefully you liked the look and hopefully you took some tips from the liner. I don't know if you like how-tos or if you prefer like palette tutorials or palette reviews. But let me know what you want to see next. If there are any particular eyeshadows that you want me to try out, then just let me know. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here, and you'll see me in my next one. Bye!